today we're going to be talking about something that I thought could be fun for us to do today. Now, I have a wall. I'm probably not going to show you that wall, but I have a wall that I like to call, I don't have an official name for it, but I like to think of it as, it's not like a vision board because it's things I've actually done. You know, a vision board is like where you have this board and it's like, oh, I want to be able to do this and I want to go to this place and I want to do this thing. But this is more like places I have been to, and I always bring back some kind of souvenir, mostly like a card. These are called, what are these called anymore? I think I'm going to have to do some research on that, and I'll put the name somewhere here. But basically, when you travel, they usually have like postcards, that's the name. When you travel in like a tourist center or a tourist shop, you would usually have like these postcards. I have 5 postcards here that we're going to dive into, and I'm going to share kind of the story behind like the trip or a fun fact about the trip. Yeah, so we're going to make this very fun. So this is the very first postcard that we have. I don't know, I'm going to, where's the camera? This is it. I'm going to do one of those weird things. I hope you can see it. So this card is from the Titanic. It's like, it's called the Titanic Center or something. I will get the official name. I don't know, I keep forgetting these things. But basically, it's literally the Titanic experience. Like, you go in, it's like a museum where you go in and you walk through history. Like, you literally walk through all the history of the Titanic. This is from a place in Ireland called Cove, and it's funny because it's pronounced Cove, but it's literally spelled C-O-B-H, which is one of the things I love about living in Ireland, is you just get to see the differences between the spelling and the way that it's pronounced, and you're like, okay, that's fun. Yeah, but anyways, that's pronounced Cove. And I think, according to, you know, the history, that Cove was the last place that the Titanic docked from before the tragic event of the Titanic. So they kind of walk you through the history. It's an amazing experience, to be honest, because then you get to see, now this particular thing that they give to people, you can see there's a name here. So it says passenger contract ticket from Cove. You know, so they've given me the ticket of an actual passenger that's called Dennis Lennon in the Titanic in 1912. How crazy is that? 1912. So this particular experience, I absolutely love it because you get to learn about the lives of the people on the Titanic. You know, their history is preserved. They talk about all the different things that went on before the tragic event. They literally walk you through life on the ship, and it's such a realistic experience with sounds and, you know, props and voices. Like, you literally feel like you are on the boat and you're like rocking on the boat as you're walking through the history. So very beautiful experience, and one I would definitely recommend. So we're getting into our second postcard, and this is from Scotland. So this is Castles of Scotland. I absolutely, anybody that knows me knows that I don't know what's going on with my hair today. Anybody that knows me knows that I absolutely love, like, Scotland has my heart. I'm sorry, I absolutely love Scotland. I think it's because I'm such an old soul. Like, I love the idea of castles and just that, you know, I wouldn't say it's like Game of Thrones vibe, but still, like, yeah, old school vibes. That's the energy that comes with Scotland. And just besides the castles, I think Scotland is such a beautiful country in terms of like the nature and the wildlife. You know, there's a lot of water, there's a lot of greens with the trees and the land and all of that. And yeah, I think it's just a very fun place, to be honest. Maybe I haven't gone at like the crazy high tourist season, but another reason I like Scotland is because it's very peaceful. Like, a lot of places that are fun to go to, there's just too many people there. I'm sorry, I'm not that kind of person that I don't like loud places. You know, a lot of places you go to and it's just like people are everywhere. So no, that was one of the things. Fun fact, I actually went to Scotland twice. the very first year I went to Scotland was 2023, and I went to Scotland twice that year. That is how much I loved it. I went the first time to see a friend, and I was like, I'm coming back here for my birthday. I have to come back here for my birthday. So I did celebrate my birthday in Scotland, and it was like a afternoon tea experience on the bus, which on a tourist bus, which was like 2-in-1. It was an amazing birthday. I'm very proud I did that. But yeah, so that brings us to our next postcard. This is King John's Castle in Ireland, and this is actually in Limerick. Limerick is a county in Ireland, and King John's Castle is one of the amazing tourist attractions that I got to visit when I went to Limerick for the first time. That was a very interesting trip. I'm smiling. That was a very interesting trip because sadly my then relationship literally ended with that trip. That was the trip that killed it, and I don't want to get into that tea, but yeah, that was a very interesting trip. Now the trip itself was fun. I had the best time. We went to all these different places. I had never been to Limerick before, so it was the very first time I was going there. It was so good that I kept saying to myself, I have to come back here. Like, the time wasn't enough, I just have to come back here. So bittersweet memories, you know. And it's funny because now, I don't know if this has happened to anyone right now, every time I go to Limerick, because I have been there after that first time that I was there, every time I go to Limerick, it reminds me of my ex, and reminds me of that previous relationship, and I'm like, oh god, I have to create new memories so that it won't erase, but like it replaces the previous ones. But anyways, you get what I'm trying to say. And that brings us to probably the most interesting postcard, because this is one that I didn't even know existed until I knew that it did. This is from Cork City, which is also in Ireland. And can you guess, like, I like that there's no title. Can you guess what this is? This is butter. 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 This is the Butter Museum. I can't believe I would ever say those words, but this is the Butter Museum of Ireland. Yes, Ireland has a butter museum. Basically, they walk you through the history of butter. Now, I have to add a caveat, because it may seem like, you know, why on earth would a country have a butter museum? It's a big deal. It's a pretty big deal here in this country. I think not just butter, but the Irish people, a lot of them are farmers. I think, you know, especially the more traditional, like, you know, Irish, especially if you go to the more countryside, farming is a very big thing here. It's kind of part of the culture. So everything about dairy farming, like cattle, like the meat, the milk, sheep, goats, all of that good stuff, right? So yes, butter is a very big deal. And also, fun fact, Ireland has, I think I may be wrong, but Ireland is the best, or the #1 exporter of butter, because of their Kerrygold butter. It's amazing that a country would be known for butter, but yes, it is. So this is the Irish, this is when I went to the Irish Butter Museum. It was a very interesting experience. I think I enjoyed it, because literally just walking through the history of the way butter used to be produced back then versus now that they have the more mechanized and the more modern options. Also things like, you know, the different, so what you can see here is the different packaging, like the way that butter has been packaged over the years. You have Black Swan, you have Irish Creamery butter, some names that I cannot pronounce, and yeah, that was basically it. Finally, this is the 5th postcard. So this is from the Cliffs of Moher, which is probably one of the most popular places in Ireland. It is absolutely stunning and gorgeous. Literally just Google Cliffs of Moher. It's in it's in County Clare, which is one of the counties in Ireland. And it was just a breathtaking view and experience for me. Absolutely loved it. Sad story though, the time I went there, the weather was horrible, so I definitely want to go back. It did not look like this. This picture, it looks gorgeous here, but it did not look like this when I went there. So I definitely want to go back when the weather is, looking great. Please always remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone, and I will see you in the next video.